Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darkest Dungeon. So, if I recall correctly, I've slept since the last recording. Um, we were probably pretty well set to try something pretty big here. We've got a level 3, we've got a level 4, we've got a level 4, and I think we can take this level 3 character too if we're lucky and really give it a go. I'm seeing blinking, which maybe the blinking and the animations are just random, or maybe it hints at something more. Yeah, our Hellion character is a level 1, so would there be really a reason to switch out this Hellion character that already has some resolve? I don't think so. We could take it, certainly, but there's kind of no reason to. Let's go. So, as it were, we want to take on a boss. We don't want to go crazy and do like a short veteran 3, even though there is a decent chance that we would succeed. This, I think, is our forward momentum, though, is that we are just trying to kill at least the first tier of each of these characters. Let's see. Critical torches below 25. Debuff, resist, and bleed. Or death doors. Death blow resist. Ooh, that sounds like that is really the item you want. More than anything else. Okay, so see if we've got everybody in the position we want them to be in. A level 4 here. Maybe we move this character up. Maybe we move this character up. Level 3 could be in the back too. Here. So we've got 4, 3, 4, and then you would take this 3, I guess, and put this right at the front. Is this the best move? Because you've got kind of like an attacker, and then a debuffer, and then a debuffer, and we've also got a healer. Do we have each character with an item on them? Yes, we do. Yeah, we are good to go. And we have a decent amount of gold too, so the move here is to definitely start with 12 food, and almost certainly start with 2 full stacks of that. And then food almost becomes unnecessary, I think. And so what I want to do is probably stick with like 2 keys and then 1 of everything else. And that's, I think, maybe what the better balance here is just to have 1 anti-venom, 1 bandage. We kind of know what each of these items are for. And let's see, this is... Which location are we actually heading to? The cove? So, I think holy water might be a little bit more valuable there. And then a little bit more food. And I think that is a good run.
My lofty position wasn't always accompanied by the fear of office. And there was a time when I could walk the streets or raise a glass in the tavern without concern for molestation. Faithful as the tide, one precocious village waif made it her hobby to shadow my every errand. It was charming then, troublesome later.
So, the siren monster maybe turned into a monster.
I always wondered what became of the unfortunate little waif.
Okay. So it's just kill the siren. So as far as scouting goes, going to this room and doing a room battle doesn't make any sense. So we immediately will just ignore that. Do we have anybody that has a better chance of disarming a trap? Not really. Do we have anybody that has a better reason in which they would... Interesting, some attribute that character had caused him to search without letting me use an item. Okay. No new searching here, but it is noticeable that if I don't get a scouting either here or here, there's a decent chance the boss might be here. And we could go all the way in this direction to assuming it's in that direction when it really isn't.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Because this is a boss fight, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get quite a bit of extra items, and so I may have too much items even now. It still just doesn't really feel like, unless there's some action that's going to happen that lets you increase the variety of items you can hold, stacking and improving a stack on items is only going to get you so far.
Is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Like, sure, if I could hold 16 torches instead of 8, or 24 food instead of 12, that would save me one slot, but if I'm still needing a shovel and medicinal herbs and keys and holy water, those elements are not going to stack in the same spot. And as we do bigger dungeons, we may have 2 pieces of firewood, which 2 pieces of firewood would then effectively create a situation where even after your first
as the fiend falls,
rest,
a faint hope blossoms.
You're still going to have firewood taking up a spot.
Confidence surges as
also, if you get down to the point where it's 2 pieces of firewood and 2 rests, you're going to need even more food. Alright. So we go this way. And we can see there's an obstacle here. But my hope is that I can scout this. But maybe not. We may just have to risk it all. Let's see what happens if we click on this. Now use the cleanse item and prevent maladies. Some medicine.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Converted that into a lot of different resources. But we're already at full, just like a full collection of items. I'm hoping the blight kills these guys a little bit faster than that last fight. Let's go for the fish guy first. Interesting. Somebody dodged for him.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
And it may be a case that these other guys, like, really can't do anything. Although, that added a lot of stress. We may still be at a situation where, even at level 4, these characters
Continue the onslaught.
are not
Destroy
leveled up enough
all.
that they are guaranteed victories and guaranteed survival. And so we may have hit a new period and a new level of, like, success.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Alright, so we have something at 75 where this is 375 and this is 250, but it will turn up to be more. So I guess the idea is, could we convince other people to possibly eat the food early so that we can sell this, so that we can take this. And that didn't help much, because now we are just in the same position again. 250 times 3, so get rid of the gold. Get rid of that. Take the upgrade materials. And we've chosen what we want to hold on to. Some of these items perhaps not the best things to hold on to, though. And there's no more scouting, so my only hope then would be to, like, move to this room and maybe scout and see if the boss is there, or move to this room and scout and see if the boss is there. Like, that is still a possibility that I could halfway down the path realize that I'm going the wrong direction and turn around. This character's stress, though, is a little concerning at 40, because we do want to try and preserve that, but I guess it's not super concerning, because
Destroyed.
I mean, we've got the whole firewood camping aspect, and we can reduce stress at that point with the camping element. I have to say, though, the whole camping thing really does feel just extra and not fully integrated into the rest of the runs, because there's just so many opportunities to do a short run and not do camping at all.
Singular strike.
In comparison to, like, Binding of Isaac, it feels like after you had done as much gameplay as I have done,
A trifling victory,
it
but a victory nonetheless.
feels like it really should have been more of a case where all the dungeons just evolve and become more dangerous and longer. Binding of Isaac totally does that. You have just a certain number of levels that you can go down in the first 10 or so runs, and it just gives you credits and says you've won, or you've gone as far as you can go after that point. And that works, I think, very nicely in the Binding of Isaac, so you don't end up potentially having a very successful run early on in the game and taking on way more than you can really handle. I could try and sell something here. for the gold, but I'm just gonna say no. It kind of feels like you should be rewarded more for leaving gold if you clear out a area 100%. I don't plan on doing it in this run, but that would be a nice little tip or trick for them to do, is to say, hey, if you go to 100% of these rooms and do 100% of these battles, then this whole region will be cleared out and we can just send a group of recovery experts to go pick up everything that you left behind as a bonus. This character's life is really, really low. I don't really have a way to heal it.
Vigor is restored.
Probably should be targeting this guy. At the very least, it would give you more of a reason to take on extra rooms. But the game is so locked into the idea that it will always be too difficult that once you hit a point where it stops being difficult, the concept of the game, I think, starts to fall apart and not make as much sense as to the creators of the game themselves. And I guess that's not super uncommon for game developers, game creators to be fairly baffled when they run into people who actually play their games like really well.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay. If we were to holy water this character, holy water this character, holy water this character, and then holy water this character, we can take that. Then we have to close that. And strongbox with a shovel does nothing. Strongbox with a key does nothing. So what would have untrapped that is the question. Seems like nothing. Well, we've made some room, at the very least. And just like an entire floor area with nothing on it. Right. Blights, poisons, didn't do anything. I guess it really does boil down to this point where you are, as you make progress, potentially just going to need to get rid of items and waste them in tiny little experiments or in just small bits of hope that maybe there's a small chance that the game would react to you trying an item on it, even if it's the wrong item. Although I really haven't seen any evidence to say that actually would happen, and so I am just probably wasting my time.
Eradicated.
And wasting items, of course, and wasting money. Right. One would hope that the blight would kill this character before it did its next attack, but I don't know if that's guaranteed, so... I should probably heal this character one more time. Come on. Just take this one out.
A death by inches.
Blight did not take out this one, though. Let's see if we can kill this foreground character. Go ahead and heal.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
So, dice. We could potentially not have done that. Let's see.
The light, the promise of safety.
This one has like venom. See, I don't even think you can use like laudanum here. So we're just hoping that this once again leads to the boss fight.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted and purpose is made clear.
If it's covered with barnacles, you should use a thing on it. Speedstone, common +1. Okay. So, sell the gold and take the speedstone for sure. Sell the laudanum and take this. Seems like you can only hold 3 of those. Getting a lot of artifacts, and I'm not sure I fully agree with all the artifacts. Oh, we're about to take on the boss fight, and we didn't rest either. Can we rest? Nope, we can't. And we can't go backwards. And I bet this doesn't sell for anything.
Have remade the poor girl in their image. She is their queen and their slave.
Okay, we just take this on, and we hope we can either do attacks or debuffs. She has a kind of mermaid appearance there with the traditional toplessness. She has 119 attack, and she seems to have the ability to summon new characters. Let's go ahead and heal this one first, just for safety. A stun resist. Get some blight on her, that may very well do massive damage. What? Was not expecting that to happen. That seems crazy and insane. That our character would move over to the other side. I guess that keeps that character from dying, but it also creates a weird situation where we've got to defeat this character, I think, fairly quickly Otherwise, we're going to have our own character who's really powerful destroying us. And see, if the whole game had been little twists and tricks like this, that would have been something, certainly. Plus 20% damage and speed on somebody. This one's gaining more stress, certainly.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
This guy still can really only attack. He needs to move. Finally. Now the problem, of course, is that our character is in the wrong position, but it does have a nice setup for that anyways, where things would move back into position. Right. They're down to 60 health. And every attack this does will move it forward, potentially moving them back. Stress is not even really a concern here. This is really just a matter of doing enough damage and not screwing up. Hopefully we don't end up with another character getting sirened, but we did. That attack was probably stupid. I don't want anybody to die here. Let's see if we can move some people around. And hopefully we can just get some critical hits. 32 is really not that much, but it really does feel like we could be dangerously close to putting this one on death's door. Damage buff, speed. Let me ask another question here. Do we have food? Yes, but we can't use it.
The blood quickens.
And see, this madness certainly is different.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Give me a critical hit. That's what I want. A critical hit to do 17 damage. 10 damage now. Stole the other character, which honestly is not that big of a deal. Come on, one more hit and just don't kill this guy. Please. And don't have this guy bleed to death. And there's our abomination, which we never turn him into the abomination. So we're gonna win, but we've lost a character that was a high level. The danger, I think, here too, though, would be that we
queen of the aquatic depths.
potentially
She has no place in the same
lose
world.
something else. Okay. So
the way is lit. The path is clear.
Let's go ahead and just sell
we
all of
require
these.
only the strength to follow it.
We might as well just eat all the food. That's everything. Yeah, and there is no reason whatsoever that you would continue on this path. Take that victory and leave. We really didn't even get that much treasure or upgrade stuff. But it kind of just doesn't matter. Like, by defeating a boss, you got this very rare at death's door item. You got 12 more crests. You've got 4,000 gold. So that default reward was enough. This character would have been a level 4. This character here is about to be a level 5. So that was hardly a horrible run.
In time,
but it does suck
to
lose somebody.
Extent of my failings.
We get that line of dialogue over and over again. And so we defeated the siren, and noticeably that did not jump up to the top. So maybe these dudes stay in some level or some order, and I just thought they jumped to the front. Week 35 or week 34 still feels like a lot. Obviously, we want stronger weapons.
A sharper sword, a stronger shield, anything to prolong a soldier's life.
And could we upgrade anything here? We could reduce the costs of skill training, but that's not as big of a deal. So with these characters, we could now have 2 more base damage, increased critical base, and a speed base increase on that character. Can we upgrade the Abbey in any way? Reduce treatment costs for the cloister by 15%. Is that worth it? Or would it be better to say reduce disease treatment costs by 13%? Or increase the number of slots. It seems like brothel really is your best focus.
Maybe they can be inured against the horrors below.
Let's see who we've got that might be new too. Flagellant. This is a flagellant level 0.
This one has become vestigial, useless.
I think I may very well have just gotten rid of an item. That might suck. Certainly. No, I don't think so though. I think the item went back into the inventory. Do we have anything else as far as flagellant exclusives that we would want to give this character? Hmm. And Hellions. Still don't think there's a real reason to have that. Okay. Was there anything we could have upgraded on this? No. Not really.
The front line of this war is not in the dungeon, but rather inside the mind.
So we've got some diseased characters with low stress. So trying to potentially get rid of a disease and a particularly cheap disease is not a terrible idea there. And then we could look at some of these more stressed out characters. This one should be here. Can't upgrade any of this, right? Then this one here. This one could pray. This one could go here. And that spends all of our money, while not really addressing this character, whose stress seems a little high for somebody I didn't take on the last run. Well, I guess I didn't do anything with him. Also, I'm not really looking at the camp here. It does seem still fairly weird. Sorry. I don't know where that came from. Fairly weird that you're not getting any kind of major reward. So, like, our next run, we probably want to play with this guy. And so he's going to be our back row character. Oh, and let's see. Death's Door, Death Blow, all of that's probably not necessary. This attack, bleed 110% base, which would mean that if I reduce the speed by 1, I could increase the bleed by more. So that's probably not a bad idea to at least experiment with. And we definitely are just going to have to take a small run now. Like take 1/3 character and level him up, and then take these level 2 characters with us to try and level them up, because we don't have any really other options. And then there is just a question. We've seen this one for sale multiple times, so we can just sell that one. That doesn't seem to matter. So it'd sell for something. Stun chance plus -1 speed, 10% stun chance. So a stunned stone is not as good as a dazzling charm. So since I don't think we need to have one of everything, we'll just sell that. It almost feels like at some point you would maybe be able to upgrade some of these items. go ahead and sell one of these Plague Doctor items since we already have one of these. That should give us enough resources to move on to the next run. And if that moved it up, it only moved it up a little bit. So we could do another Cove Short Apprentice level, or you do a medium, or you do a veteran, which no way, or you have a champion level now, level 5, which I think is really just highlighting how level 4, level 5 is a big difference. A long apprentice one, it's probably not what we want. A medium, kill the swine prince, is probably not smart enough. Grain sacks. Gather 3 grain sacks would be looking around a lot in the medium. So I think it does just mean we have to do this Cove one. Like we really don't have any other choice. Right, so we have a level 2 who wants to be our back character. I kind of want this as the front character. And let's see. Death blow. Resist 15% at attack. Let's see if that was the right move for that guy. This one would want to be here, but that's a level 1. Whereas this one would want to be here, and that's a level 2. So we have a grave robber here. We have a grave robber here. So probably would benefit us to dismiss this grave robber, or just hold on to it since we've got enough room. A lot of disease here. Right, and then in this time you just go with 12 of these, all of these, 1, 2 of those. Think holy water, bandage, and second shovel is probably fine. Yeah. I kind of think it is a case where like one of each of these is the right move. Because whenever you use it correctly, you are going to end up getting such a reward with that you need the
smell
space.
of rotting fish is almost unbearable.
Exploring 90% of the rooms is an easy start to this. 100 gold. And let's just see how this all boils down. We have to remind ourselves that we are back now to a lower level of enemies, and so there is a potential here where this could really be a lot more difficult than it seems. Or it could simply not be that difficult and it may just be grindy.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And that is definitely another instance.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Where defeating the siren feels like it should have unlocked something as far as better rewards or just easier fights, faster fights. Perhaps fight faster is more important than even better.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Yeah. And it's still not fast enough, so I'm hoping that now that I can potentially level up with gold all of the weapons on characters, that they will take half as many swings at the bat, as it were, to kill enemies. Like, defense is great and all, but at a certain level, you're still taking these base effects, even if you are taking 0 health damage, enough that it's still too much of a concern and too much of a danger. The fact that enemies can attack you, do 0 health damage, and then automatically do 12 to 15 stress seems a little unfair.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
You run into a danger here where the narrator very possibly is the bad guy. He's sacrificing these creatures that maybe are trying to defend the area and stop hunters from coming in and releasing an old god.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Like, it could be the old switcheroo, as it were, and turn out that we are being led to do the dirty work of a bad guy. Odd about this coral. Bandage does nothing. Holy water does nothing. Shovel does nothing. Medicine does something? A soft quirk was removed. Interesting. I don't know if that was worth it, certainly in using all those other items. Okay. So, we need to search a room. You can see that there's a battle here and a curio and a battle here. So going here, here, up here, here, and here, and skipping this is our best path. I'm trying to click on this guy so he will take any potential damage if something happens, like a trap. Totally missed there. Stun that guy. Did I miss this guy because he has a lot of dodge, or did I miss the guy because he's flying?
Back to the pit.
We probably will never know.
Executed with impunity.
So now, again, I guess try and blight that character, or do whatever to that character. Should have been focused on killing him a little bit quicker. I suppose And almost certainly it is the case that, except for Twitch streamers who would have been playing this game in its early access every single day for hours and hours on the day, a lot of people who would have been playing this game in early access, or just playing it even now, probably would play it for an hour or two and then put it away for a couple days and then come back to it. So as a video game critic who's trying to make more content than that and play more games than that, that puts me in a
This expedition at least
different
promises
position where, yeah, I imagine I would slightly enjoy this game a little bit more if I put it down for a couple days after a couple hours of playing, and then kind of just forgot the repetitiveness and the grindiness that exists in the game. We're getting items, but I'm not sure we're getting a lot of great items. And we've got plenty of torches. This is going to work out fairly nicely as long as we don't end up in some kind of weird fight that's not marked.
A blazing star is born.
See, he got some kind of like special ability. I don't know what it is. And this is just another one of those situations where it's just getting really, really easy. Too easy for its own good. Walking through all these areas and having no surprise or no battle. I guess inherently that's the problem, is that a regular game would probably be running a random number generator, a dice roll effectively, to see if you're going to run into a battle, and your odds should be going up the more steps you take, the longer it takes between each battle. But since the scouting tells you there will be no battle, there will just be no battle, and there seems to not be really any kind of complicated algorithm to make sure that there is a significant amount of battles in any run, so it is very just random. It's the difference between, I suppose, creating a hero quest layout, if to use a reference to a board game, an old board game. In Hero Quest there was a board, and there was a bunch of different layouts that were pre-created and defined with scenarios around them. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, if Dungeons and Dragons had a board game element to it, and there were doors and little miniature toys to show the location and the layout of a dungeon. Whereas Dungeons and Dragons is just done by storytelling, and there is no extra element beyond that. But if you tried to make your own Hero Quest level and didn't use the guidebook that came with, and was creating it just based on random actions, you'd probably end up with an experience not too dissimilar from what we're experiencing here. There was an Android phone app that effectively took the same scenarios from Hero Quest and turned it into a cell phone game. I don't think it was in any way official, and I imagine Hasbro, who has a monopoly on almost all board games, owns Hero Quest at this point. And that brought it into a new decade and a new generation of people who might want to play a super long game like that, and speeds it up a little bit by making it digital, but not by much. It's a little shocking that there hasn't been more people trying to make something like Hero's Quest, but it is kind of uniquely also working within the limitations of the real world in a board game when a digital dungeon game like this doesn't have to live within those limitations, so why would it? And Hero's Quest in particular is probably most notably being known for the game that people have seen but didn't actually play all the way through because it is just a super long game with a ton of little pieces. Come on.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Alright, next area, one last room. We are so seemingly safe here. There's very little to worry about. Like, if I was to do this on this, that worked out well, but that could have gone bad. And we hadn't scouted this area, so there very possibly always was a fight here. More than likely there was. I want to kill this madman first. Particularly these B teams, these trainer teams, to get them to level up. You don't want characters taking so much madness that you have to actually spend money on these runs. Although it kind of feels like it's going to be somewhat the opposite situation where the lower level characters will need the madness reduction and the higher level characters will resist taking madness in the first place, so it won't be an issue. That guy took like 67 damage if I read that correctly. That would be really a massive amount of damage. Alright, so now I just need to kill this character. And I think we're safe at that point. I could heal. Wouldn't be a terrible thought.
Destroyed.
Let's see.
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Decent chance we just walk through this next area and it's an empty room. Yep. So I guess the question here, does using food possibly increase anything at this point? I don't think it does. So I don't think anything does anything, so you just take your victory.
You will find all
and
manner
move on.
of great and terrible things in this watery tomb.
And yeah, with any luck, that'll give us enough resources to take our A team back to another boss fight. And so in a 2-hour potential run here, we may defeat 2 bosses completely. This one's up to level 3 now.
Finally, the serum is working. And
Medical
side
breakthrough.
effects are
The time and gold
manageable.
were not spent in vain. However, as of today, caregivers announced that they have successfully succeeded in concocting an effective antidote. Medical ward is free. Great. 100 stress being recovered. Like at a certain level, if you're recovering 100 stress, then the maximum any character could have is like 200 stress before they have a heart attack. Do we have anything that would allow us to upgrade this? No. Hope that level 3 guy is the level 3 guy we really want to take. Although let's just upgrade everybody. Do we have something here we can sell? +8 accuracy on the Plague Doctor side. Let's see what the Plague Doctor character has at the moment. Where are you, Plague Doctor? Did we lose the Plague Doctor? This isn't a Plague Doctor. Yeah, we lost our Vestal, we lost our Plague Doctor as a character. Let's see. Arbalist. Antiquarian.
Shoot, bandage, and pillage. The dancing steps of war.
I don't know if we have a leper either. Is this guy a leper? Yes, he is. Arbalists don't come around too often. Let's see. Arbalist only. Let's take this other level 1 Arbalist too.
Shoot, bandage, and pillage. The dancing steps of war.
Let's see, this one might be a better one to use. We would have drag it up that way. And yeah, there's definitely an argument to trying to upgrade your roster so you just have level 1 characters to start with. But by the time I actually upgraded the roster, I probably would also have upgraded or been able to upgrade everybody to level 2. Okay. Do we have somebody that we're not going to take on this level 4 run that has a disease that we can treat? I think the answer is here. Yeah. Red Plague for free, or bulimic for free, or Grey Rot for free. Do we not have anybody that doesn't have like considerably more diseases than this? I thought we did, but it may really be a case that either some of these diseases have just worn off, or some of these diseases are could we possibly open up the number of cells and do 2 free diseases? Nope. Yeah, it is a possibility, I guess, that the way this is all boiled down to is that there's less diseases that stick around, which might mean that there are less negative quirks that will stick around as we get better and better at the game. And there might be all kinds of things that are getting changed behind the scenes to make the game easier on us. I guess I probably just don't have enough upgrade material for anything otherwise. We're really not seeing a lot of great high level items either. We just need resources, so sell that and sell that and sort everything around and just make sure we don't have multiple items. This jester character, we already have this, so let's just sell that. And then uncommon 7% crit. So 7% crit, almost certainly better than that item. Plague Doctor is the next one we should look at. Did we? Yeah, we really did lose our Plague Doctor. 8% crit as a Dark Bracer. If that was going to work on anybody, it probably should work on that guy. Alright, well, we have enough gold, and so we don't really need to jump around all of this anymore. Unless we can upgrade this. Yeah. That would be, I guess the question is, could we possibly upgrade something more? Let's see, just make sure we've upgraded everything that matters. So we're going to take these 4 characters and then one of these 3 characters, and that means everything should be upgraded here. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't have been. And so we're good. We're set up, we're ready to embark. Let's go. That moved us up further. So we could do a medium apprentice level 1, kill the Sultan crew, or we could try something more challenging. Medium veteran level 3, complete 100% of the room battles, kill the wizened hag, explore 90% of the room. Medium, complete 100% of the room battles on the ruins. Kill the swine prince. Yeah, I think we take it easy. I think we do a medium apprentice one. We kill the swine prince. Or we kill the wizened hag. Just try for very rare items. Hero's Ring. Alright, we'll go for that. So then this character would be our front runner. And at some point we may start to split these characters up. This one. This is our plague doctor. No, that's an occultist, isn't it? Okay. His attack could be in the front two. So we can take him. Or we could take the dog, but I don't think we want to take the dog. And then this guy. I'll be back this way. Everybody's got items. Everybody is set up in a good position. Let's do this. And take that. Can't afford anything more. Really. We could sell the bandage. Or we could try and sell the food. Or we could try and sell the torches. Alright. We'll live with that though.
The ways and rituals of blood sacrifice are
the hope
difficult
here
to master.
Is just to get to the
Those
boss
from
fight
beyond
fairly quickly.
Require a physical vessel if they are to make the crossing into our reality.
And I
The
believe
timing of the
this
chance
is the one
imperative.
we took
Without
on
the proper
before,
occurrences at precise
and then we
intervals,
flee
the process can
and ran
fail
away because
spectacularly.
we were not going to win. So it almost
A
makes some
nameless
sense
abomination.
if this was
A
the same
testament to my
dungeon,
failures. It must be destroyed.
or if this was the, like, if it would just take us to the
Cruel
same
machinations spring to life
boss fight to start
with a
with.
singular purpose.
This could easily be a walk in the park. Unless, of course, our character here decides to bleed to death.
To the pit.
Go ahead and try to take some of these background area characters out. Yep, this potentially is going to be a 2-turn fight. Although we may have some characters that don't have the same level of blight effects that can be inflicted on them. Darn it.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
The stun effect, I guess, happens right when you start a new turn. So you know at the very beginning that the character is just not going to have a move. which that seems a little weird, but not super weird.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay. Click on this. Use our one key.
Packs
Get
laden
that
with
result.
loot are often low on supplies.
Okay. Uncommon minus 20% stress, 10% death blow resistance. And interestingly, when I right click to that cycled in, so that does mean I potentially could have changed things. Yeah, Warrior's Bracers, let's get rid of that. So, yeah, I thought you needed to drag one thing into the inventory to swap things around, but seemingly that wasn't the case. Immediately we get into a fight as soon as our light source was lower.
Eradicated.
This very possibly is a one-turn fight. Not quite a one-turn fight. I'm probably feeling a slight improvement in the attack, but it doesn't feel crazy different, I have to say.
Annihilated.
Doing 13 damage when I maybe was doing 14 damage. Just doesn't feel that different.
Give them no quarter.
Right.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
They seem to be gaining more health the more they eat. Of course, giving 4 extra food to our characters. It's a lot of food. And using a bandage. Okay. My hope is that the boss fight is down here. There's a possibility the boss fight is at the top. Let's see. Anyone specific want to read this? Yeah, that does seem like that leads to you getting a journal entry when you read those, and very possibly nothing else. Do we have the right item to use on this? Let's say no. Let's just leave it.
Decimated.
One down. 2 to go. If the boss fight is not in this area, even though the layout of the map seems to be exactly the same as it was before, then yeah, that does open up a door for potentially wandering around looking for the boss fight and
maintain the offensive.
Spending a lot of extra time.
Confidence surges as the
I
enemy
guess
crumbles.
Because it's a medium-sized area,
This expedition at least promises success.
we could use the firewood and rest if necessary.
It is a travesty, a blundering mountain of hatred and rage.
We basically need to do just like 10 hits here. And we've got a healing ability here, if necessary. So unless this guy starts to hit really, really hard, which maybe he will. I think we've got a victory. I don't want to lose a character though. And once again, I could have camped.
Quickens.
Yeah, I could have camped and potentially added it to the speed of our character. We could self-heal if I can attack.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Down to 47. Heal up. I guess the question is, if you hadn't been at death's door in the first point, does that potentially mean you can't die on the first death's door and it's always on the second hit? I don't know if there's any real promise of that, but it would certainly be kind if that was the case. I think because this is a boss, this character probably has 100% resistance to being stunned.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
We can pull this off. We just gotta get lucky.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Come on, kill him. 14 health. 6 health.
How
Just
many
kill him.
rats will it take to gnaw through a ton of putrid flesh?
Seriously, I have to defeat this guy too? I'm gonna be so upset if this guy kills my character. That would be ridiculously unfair.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
And yeah, let's just return to the hamlet. Take that victory. I guess, at least in the boss battles here, defeating the dungeons are going to be pre-generated dungeons, and so they won't be random. So you can maybe learn something from where a boss is, and then run away and come back to it later. Although in most cases I don't think that's going to be necessary. Now 2 of these characters are now back up to level 5. 20% weapons upgrade cost.
Death and demise.
Tavern will be
Calls for
open later than
celebration.
normal throughout the celebration. Residents are asked to maintain some semblance of decorum when leaving after medium midnight. The bar is free, the brothel is free, the gambling hall is free. Ooh, great for Mardi Gras, which was week 37. Yeah, that's just another team success. Grave robber level 1. I think our grave robber is already level 1. So I don't see a reason you'd want to switch that out. Do we have enough resources to upgrade this? Nope. Or upgrade this? Nope. Although we're close, but not quite close enough. Okay. So, Mardi Gras, everything is free, which may not really matter too much. We could upgrade brothel or the number of slots for gambling. Although, when you look at the stress that these guys have, it's just nothing. We could really go out on another run at this specific spot. So, just reduce stress on all of those characters. Honestly, I have some other characters that probably could have reduced stress too. But I don't know if it's really even necessary. Can we upgrade anything here? No. And we have now 2 or 3 times forgotten to even use the campfire. So it's not something that's really working out well. And I guess pretty much if anything is just common, I could sell it, because you're going to just be able to eventually buy it back later. Yeah, so there's nothing to upgrade. We have a lot of gold, and we are in another good position to take our B team and do another run. And then frankly, it's going to be a fast run, so we might as well just do it now. 4 runs in 1 recording. I could play with this 4 guy, but I don't want to. Increase his health. Oh, before we go back there, though, there is an increasing desire, I think, though, to think about, if not getting rid of diseases, potentially getting rid of or locking in abilities. I think just locking in the good abilities is probably fine. And getting rid of the bad abilities is... like, you can't log in the bad abilities, so theoretically if you started to have a ton of money, you might start to try and get rid of negative quirks and just have this right side completely empty. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I don't really want to lock in any of his abilities, nor do I want to really lock in any of his abilities and spend that extra money. We still really aren't getting that much extra money. Right. So we want something short. And potentially we might want to even think about doing the farmstead at some point in the future. Although that may not be really on it. So do we want to do the Cove or the Warrens? Short. Or this, explore 90% of the room. I think that's good. Explore 90% of the room. So that would mean we would take this guy. He's best in the back. And then this guy. He's best in the middle. And then I'm not sure if there is a real character here you really want. This one here with that. Hero's Ring plus 25% virtues chance. It really feels like that should be somebody in the front. We probably should build up a character like this at the front. It's probably way too good of a item to be equipping to such a low level character. What if we were to do this item here and see if maybe these virtues might get rid of some of these effects? 10% HP. I think speed probably is what you would want more of. Do we have anything that is specifically for lepers? The background image here is not that good. A 2 speed there. And that. Okay, that all seems good. Although, there's a possibility that this character's levels and attacks could have been upgraded. We didn't check that, and I don't want to check that. There is also a possibility that having to search 90% of the rooms is possibly one of the worst paths or ones to deal with. Because that locks you into the idea of having to go down through 90% of the entire map. 816 is more than enough. 2 of those, 2 of those, 1 of those, 1 of those. Let's go with only 1 of those. We'll play around with the laudanum. Take 1 of those too. Yeah. I think you're pretty safe just going with that arrangement. And honestly, I probably could have ended the episode here and started the next episode doing this
I knew
run.
all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
So you want to play as this guy because he has the trap ability. Okay.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
We haven't been spending a lot of time in the wield.
Executed with impunity.
21 damage there. So these are characters that might be very much pushovers, even for a B team. Still think it's weird that the dog does a little squeaky toy sound effect when he misses.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And we had just started. Okay. Fight. Fight Curio here. So that this is gonna be sucky. There's just kind of no way that you're not gonna be able to do these two rooms, so we're gonna have to skip this room. Attack this guy first. Because I think if we kill this one before anything else happens, I think you're fairly safe. Although 4 characters having to attack one character isn't the biggest or best twist. Or best use of the resources. That's why sometimes I say things and even I don't know what I'm saying. I know it comes off where I say the wrong words, which is not good commentary for sure. This is definitely becoming a game where I'm spending more of it playing right between the times where I'm about to fall asleep or I just woke up. So there's kind of a lack of alertness that I feel.
Annihilated.
I'm starting to get a little sleepy right now.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And these fights are still... Sorry, I went quiet there, but these fights are still... I probably didn't need to do that. They're still a little grindy. Still take a little too long. Here's a great example of us running out of items. Space. This might be a case where
laden with loot are often low on supplies.
These items are... Do we have anybody that possibly has room? Like, I don't want to sell a Hellstone, certainly. Maybe I subconsciously chose to avoid this area because of the annoying howling that happens. This dog houndmaster's accuracy is still terrible. And I don't know if that's because of diseases. Yeah, it is. But then how come I didn't see that this guy had a disease before? What happened there? What was the miscommunication? Because I actively was looking for people with diseases and couldn't find it. Maybe there are some diseases that our estate just doesn't know how to cure, and so they're not showing up in that screen. That'd be interesting, certainly, but it would just be another system that this game potentially is not explaining, which it definitely is not explaining a lot.
Another abomination cleansed from our
So this
lands.
back row character really needs to attack the front row character. We need something to heal this character. This is a self-heal.
Back to the pit.
This guy is a heavy hitter.
The blood quickens. As victories mount, so too will resistance.
All I can do is feed that character. I hope that they don't bleed to death from the blight. Could have probably used holy water on there, come to think of it. And there really is just no avoiding conflict. Okay. Our inventory is really high. This would have been a nightmare.
A victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
We know there's going to be a battle in this. Of course, the danger here is that this might summon a super battle, and we are definitely not prepared for that. Should I use the dog treat? I think, and yes, just so I get rid of it. These guys are not dying in the one shot I would have hoped they would have died in. And these guys can induce stress still at high enough levels. Okay. Best bet is to kill that guy. Attack one of these and do a massive amount of damage. Although that may have been the wrong one to attack because this guy may not be able to hit the back row. Yeah, all he can do is do that. just heal yourself since you can't attack.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
I could have this character eat a bunch of food. Or I can say no to the gold. Perhaps the power, great power lies within. Let's try holy water on it. Purify the altar. God-fearing as a quirk. Maybe removed or added. So yeah, purifying the altar there did something, and I'm not going to say that was a bad thing, but it probably isn't what the game was really
gold,
thinking.
Trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
We're looking for a secret room, which we've only seen a small number of secret rooms. And really, it seems like you can only find secret rooms on a rare occasion when you have scouting enabled. You cannot re-engage with the altar in the same way you can't re-engage with anything else. Food is now fairly low. We have not made it.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
I should have brought more food. We've got 3 more rooms. And I just have no heal ability. So
another one falls.
my hope is that I can take out the rest of this dungeon very quickly. This guy hits hard, but he does miss sometimes. Whereas most characters never miss, but they hit fairly weakly. I would have had a lot more food had I not given a massive amount to that character. And I suppose if this character did die, it wouldn't be the biggest problem in the world, because we have another one, and this character doesn't even have any resolve or anything. This was the first run.
Remind yourself
Well, it has
that
like 2
overconfidence
resolves.
is a slow and insidious killer. In Radiance, may we find victory.
Right. Was there supposed to be a curio in here? Guess not. So the mushrooms are the trap. Now we know. We have not enough food.
No force of will can overcome a failing body.
Although we did have food, just not enough to feed everybody. So if we really screwed this up, let's see, what happens if we try the shovel on it, a torch on it, holy water in it, laudanum in it, that.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy
The
alike.
anti-venom sap on trees. Okay. So at least we now know what the right thing to use is. Alright, and that is that. We return to Hamlet and call that a good, successful run.
Every cleared path and charted route
Our character didn't die.
Of our troubled estate.
Yeah, here it says every cleared path reduces the isolation of the estate. So if you're supposed to take that literally, that means that your estate potentially is upgrading because of this new run being finished, or will eventually upgrade. And yeah, 2 more resolve to each of those characters.
Strength, purpose, and peace all can be found in the focused mind.
Let's see, militia training. The veteran sergeant will be demonstrating his training regimen at the guild hall every night for the next week. All those concerned with self-preservation are encouraged to attend. Idle men at arms gain 1 resolve level, which that seems very much like a smart move. Of course, that would mean leaving one of our top tier characters idle, which is questionable. Did they gain 1 resolve, or will they gain 1 resolve? I guess is the question. You'd think it would be they will gain 1 resolve.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
So we've now gotten past all of the main bad guys, except for Weisentag, the Incolate Flesh, the Soldan crew, and the Brigand, which I don't even know how to do the Brigand one. And as far as journals, we still really are. You'd really just have to count each of these numbers to see if we have all of the 1 through 6s of these different text journals that you'll never read. And even if you did do that, that doesn't really fully guarantee anything at all as far as whether we've gotten all the journal pieces or not. See, we're on 2 of 29 here, and it seems like we have everything after 2 in the blood-soaked pages of the journal. So there does seem like there's still some. The visuals do look like some things have been improved. Like, this looks nicer, this looks nicer. Here's a level 0 Vestal, which we need a Vestal. And since we just did this, yeah, it I don't think
Another
hurts
soul battered and
to
broken,
grab that.
cast aside like a spent torch.
And this Crusader could be potentially replaced with this Crusader, since we haven't done anything with them. Why can I not dismiss that Crusader? Yeah.
This one has become vestigial, useless.
This is a better Crusader anyways. So we don't need duplicate Crusaders. Alright. Can we upgrade anything here? Just reducing the cost. Can we upgrade anything here? Yes.
Every creature has a weakness. The wise hero trains for what she will face.
So yeah, I guess you want to just upgrade everything and not be particularly flippant about it. Anything that you might actually use should be upgraded. If it can be upgraded. And some of these characters definitely are at a level where they would be very much upgradable, even higher. Like, we are in a really good position to potentially take our A team and then maybe even a level 1, even a level 0, and just not go super crazy with the next run. Let's see. Heal that up too. The fact that we have 2 of these abominations that are really high levels is another issue certainly to think about. Alright. So what you'd want here is to get this upgraded, and you don't have enough crests to do that. So potentially changing busts over to deeds to then upgrade armor smithing is a no-go. But once we get armor smithing upgraded, then we could potentially get level 2 characters to start with, which there is a lot of characters here that are level 0 and level 1. If we started to see level 2 replacing those characters as backup people, builds this level of security that would be very helpful in this game, because there is that danger of the game still really falling under its own weight, and you potentially... This one's not angsty, is he? No. Like, you very easily could lose your main team, lose your A team of strong characters, and then have nothing you could really do to fix that. Yeah, this guy's tinnitus I'd like to get rid of. While we can. And then some of these negative things are just still way too expensive. That's really the only thing that money is going to be spent on, though, is just mental sanitarium stuff. And then stress-wise, I don't think I even really need to spend the money to try and reduce the stress on these characters. Which is good, because I don't really have the money after upgrading everybody. But even that's not that big of a deal. Vestal is a Vestal only item. Protection stone. We can go ahead and sell that for 750. And let's see, we've got a survival guide and a survival guide. So we'll sell one of those. Like pretty much any of these items, if they were big or important, they would not be common. So yeah. Might need to sell some more things. Things that we kind of know don't matter. Warrior's Bracelet as a common we could sell. Bleedstone we can sell. We've had those for a while and not cared about them. Or selling that's probably a mistake. Of course, we are making the assumption that an item is better just because it is exclusive to a specific class, when it really isn't guaranteed to be that way. Book of Rage. Still don't want to do the Butcher's Circus, and still not anywhere close to having the right amount of resources to upgrade anything here. I put the Man-at-Arms. No, he's here. So, if I left him idle for the next week, we might get one resolved. But yeah, we still would need either 60 busts, which is a ridiculous amount, to get food for free, or 300 crests and 1,000 gold to make Torchlight more beneficial. Either one of those means buying less food or less torches, which would probably make the game easier. Alright, well, we've gone for 2 hours, and it does feel like we are starting to feel that snowball effect where things are just getting easier and easier, which is good because it was dangerously getting to the point where it felt like I might spend 30 hours extra or another 10 hours extra to play this game, and certainly that's still a possibility. It still could be a very slow climb to get to level 6, if not higher than level 6 with your characters. It could still be a very slow climb to succeed in a run, even if you have max level characters, because your stats may be so specific as far as what you need to succeed that it could just be a total wipeout. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.